Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today we'll be teaching you guys how to use DeepFaceLab. So basically, if you don't know what is DeepFaceLab, it's basically a deep faking program. As you guys can see, if you hit to their official website, which is deepfakevfx.com, as you guys can see, I will definitely link this down in the description below if you guys are interested in following. So yeah, let's get right into it. So what is DeepFaceLab? DeepFaceLab is basically a deep faking software that basically converts any face from the source to the destination. So if you guys are very confused about it, I'll explain it in a second. But as you guys can see, there are several ways of downloading DeepFaceLab, with one being the GitHub repo, the torrent, and the mega. So we'll be using the mega for this purpose of the tutorial. And basically, you guys are gonna download DeepFaceLab. So once you guys are at DeepFaceLab, as you guys can see, there are 4 options of downloading DeepFaceLab, and this will depend on your GPU. For my case, I have a 3060 Ti, so I'll be using the RTX 3000 series. But if you guys have a Nvidia probably 2060, you guys may consider using the Nvidia up to 3080 Ti. So it really depends on your graphics card. So in my case, I'll be using the 3000 series build right here, and I'll be downloading it as a standard download. And yeah, just wait for the file to download, and I'll see you guys in a second. Once you guys have finished downloading DeepFaceLab, you guys are going to extract the DeepFaceLab to wherever location you guys have saved it in. So in my case, I have saved it under my documents in my PC. So like I said, this will be a basic beginner's guide. I'll make a separate video on the advanced guide where I'll be covering models and pre-trained models and exact files, something like that, to give you guys a rough idea. So once you guys have extracted the DeepFaceLab, you guys will notice in your workspace, you guys would see the data destination and the data source. So what is the destination and what is the source? The destination is basically the folder where, as you guys can see, where you'll be putting the face and changing the face of the destination. So the source would be the one that you guys want to put the face in. So we are essentially putting the source face to the destination face. You guys will also see a model called a file called model. So basically it'll be empty by right, and you guys can also download models from a website called DeepFaceVFX, if I'm not wrong, where you guys can download pre-trained models, which will significantly increase the speed of how you can do the deepface process. So once you guys have downloaded the file, you guys are going to hit the first step, which is clear workspace. Normally I do not really do that button that much, because if you guys were to clear the workspace, the model, the destination, and the source will be deleted. So you guys want to be sure you guys are confident you guys want to delete your workspace before doing. So we will not be doing that. So the second step you guys are going to do is basically extract the images from the source. So what basically that does is basically extract the every frame from the destination folder, if I'm not wrong, sorry, the source folder will be extracted to this folder. So you guys are going to hit that button right here, and it's basically just going to extract it by itself. Depending on your GPU, it would really matter how fast you can extract the source. So it's definitely better if you guys have a better computer, better CPU. So once you guys open the file, you should prompt you to enter the FPS. So you guys are most likely gonna hit 0 FPS. So every single frame from the source folder, which is right here, will be extracted into the file. You guys are basically gonna hit 0 if your source file contains very little frames. But if let's say you guys have a very long footage of somebody that you're trying to deepfake, you guys may consider putting 7 to 8 FPS. But for this purpose of tutorial, you guys are gonna hit 0. So just write 0 or press enter in your keyboard and just press 0, and it should prompt you what type of image format you guys are going to press. So you guys are gonna press enter, which is PNG. And like I said, it should start converting every frame to your data source folder right here. As you guys can see, it's being updated at real time. So once you guys have finished extracting the images from the source, you guys are gonna press enter, And basically, as you guys can see, all the source frames has been extracted at 0 FPS, so all the frames are going to be loaded from start to finish. The second step you guys are going to do is basically press the third option, which is extract images from the destination. So we are basically doing the same thing, just that you have no option to select the FPS since that it is a destination folder, so all frames has to be considered, or else the face will look very choppy. So you guys are going to press enter. As you guys can see, all the frames are being loaded in the destination right now. So while waiting for the frames to load, you should bear that in mind that your GPU really matters. If you guys are using if you guys do not have a graphics card, I will make a separate video explaining how to do so. So you guys have extracted, once you guys have extracted 16,000 frames, sorry, 1,600 frames, you guys are going to press the fourth step, which is the data source face set extract. So basically what that does is basically it has an algorithm where it detects the source on the face from the data source. So you guys are going to press 0 in this case, which is using my 3060. So here comes the option where you guys may be a little bit confused. So WF is basically the whole face. So we are extracting from the if I'm not wrong, from the forehead to the chin. So that is the whole face process. And what head does is basically it extracts from the hair to the neck, if I'm not wrong. So it's basically very comprehensive and some definitely more GPU intensive process. And anytime you guys do not know what the options are, you guys can basically press the question mark icon. As you guys can see, it shows what it does, but I'm just briefly explaining what each option does. So you guys can press enter because for this purpose of the tutorial we'll use the whole face, and the maximum number of faces from the image will be 0. The image resolution should be kept at 512, so we'll be looking at that, and we'll be changing this to 100 just to improve the quality of the face, to get the maximum quality of the face. And you guys will press enter. As you guys can see, it's extracting the faces right now. So depending on your computer, it will take some time. It may take some time to extract the face, so yeah, you just gotta be patient with the process. As you guys can see, there are 655 faces from the source, and we are extracting each of them as we speak right now. And the estimated completed time would be 7 minutes. The lapse time, it is currently at 23 seconds right now. And the iteration time it is being extracted at, it is at 1.86 iteration per second, so that's not really that bad. But if you guys have a more beefier computer, let's say a 4060 Ti, you guys can definitely have higher extraction time, faster time to extract the faces. But basically what this process does is basically, if you guys open your data source and you go your align faces, as you guys can see, it's extracting it one by one right now. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in a bit once I've extracted everything. Once you guys have extracted all the faces, as you guys can see, 655 frames are being extracted to 654. So there is one face that is not being detected right now. So you guys are gonna press your keyboard. You guys are gonna press OK, or press any key on your keyboard. As you guys can see, all the faces has been extracted from the source folder. So once you guys are done with the process, you guys are gonna press the data destination face set extract button right here. Pad file. And once you guys have pressed the button, you should ask for similar inputs. So you guys are gonna press the same options as we have done in the first one. So it should take some time to extract as well. But for this, it will take slightly longer because we have more frames. We have 1,690 frames, so it will take a longer time to extract them. So I'll see you guys in a bit once I've extracted all the faces. Okay, once you guys are done with the process, you guys are gonna press enter. As you guys can see, 1,619 faces has been extracted. You guys are gonna press any key to continue. And as you guys can see, if you guys go to your workspace, you guys should see that the align folder has all the faces right now. If you guys are not sure what the debug tool does, it's basically the manual extract. So if let's say your face has been extracted wrongly, sorry, not your face, but the face has been extracted wrongly, you guys can manually adjust using one of the batch files, if I'm not wrong, which is the manual adjustments. So basically it's this folder, but we will not be doing this for the basic tutorial. So the second step you guys are going to do is basically you guys can have two options, right? You guys can basically start training your face because it has extracted the face, but it is just extracting the face and not the whole face. So if you guys want to use the whole face, you guys would need to open up exact, but this will be just a basic tutorial, so we will not be using the edit for exact. I will make a separate video on how to do the exacting process. You guys are going to just hop straight into the training process, so you guys are going to press a train SEHD. Once you guys are at this process, you guys will be creating a model from scratch. As you guys can see, no saved models are found, and you have to enter a name of new model. So this is highly not recommended, but for this tutorial we'll be creating a model. So why do I say it's not recommended? It's because it will take very long to train a model compared to somebody who is using a pre-trained model, because you can get better results and faster results using a pre-trained model. You guys will see in a second that the model takes very long to train because you're training from the ground up. You're training from the beginning, you're training from scratch. So for this tutorial, we're just calling VOA, which is my channel name, and this model would be the very first model. As you guys can see, model first run. So you take super long and take very long to get the results basically. So for the GPU, you guys are gonna press 0 real quick, and auto backup, you guys can press 0. You guys can definitely press the question mark icon just to get, you know, a description, but I'll just say very briefly. So this is the options that I normally press, and it has worked for me. You guys gonna press no. The target iteration, you guys gonna press 0. This is where it gets subjective. You guys are gonna press yes for this one, for the source face, and the destination, you guys are gonna press no. So for my understanding, if I'm not wrong, if you flip the source face and the destination, you do not flip it, you tend to get a better result, but I'm not sure whether it does anything. But that's what I heard online, so I'm not really sure on that, but that's an option that I normally use. For the batch size, you guys are going to press 4 or press 2 depending on your GPU. So the higher the batch size, you guys are going to have more GPU intensive. It will be more GPU intensive to run at a higher batch size. So if you guys have a very weak computer, or you guys are using a laptop, it will be recommended to use a batch size of 4 or 3 or 2. You guys are not gonna run a batch size of 16 and 8, and tends to produce worse results. You guys are running a higher batch size. That's what I found online, and that's the research that I've done online. So for this purpose, we'll be running at batch size 4. So the resolution, you guys are gonna pick 108 20 I can't pronounce today, 128. So basically this resolution for this tutorial will just be running at 128, so it's extremely small. As we go up the resolution, it's gonna be better, it's gonna be more clearer, the deepfake will be more convincing. However, your GPU would need to be better as well. So at a 3060 Ti GPU test, which I've been using, the highest I can go is 320 resolution, which is not that bad, and many DeepFaceLab model do require 360 resolution. But for this tutorial, because we are just running as a test, we'll be using a 128 resolution. So like I said, if you guys do not use exact, you guys are going to use the face type as face, and you can't use whole face. If you use whole face, you'll be translated back to face. So you guys are going to press face because we are not using the exacting part. So the Light HD AE architecture, from what I've known, the Light model is actually better than the the default model if I'm not wrong. So you guys can press the question mark just to get more information on it. If you guys press the question mark, as you guys can see, the DF model, it will definitely produce better results from my understanding compared to the Lite, because the Lite takes control of the face type. So as you guys can see, it says that it can fix overly different face shapes. So from my understanding, it doesn't really do that from my test. So I'm not sure if that is universal. You guys can definitely try, but for this tutorial we will be using the DFUTD model we'll be creating after this model, because I think this has the best model at the cost of lesser GPU. And this is very important if you guys are trying to train faces that are pretty train faces in a quick amount of time. So the encoder dimensions, I'm gonna keep it as default. You guys can feel free to copy along. We'll be using an optimizer on GPU. We'll be using ADA belief, and we'll be using random warp and sample. So for this basic tutorial, we will not be using learning rate dropout or gaining. We'll not be covering that. I'll make a more advanced tutorial in the future, like I said, on that kind of stuff. So you guys are just gonna keep all these at default options, and the pre-training you guys can press no, because we are not gonna be pre-training today. So once you guys are done, as you guys can see, the model should start loading up. If in the event that it does not load up, that means that the settings you guys pick are a bit too high, and therefore the model may not run. So you guys can see it should start saving. If it does not save or crash, in the event that it crashes or does not save, you guys may have to change your settings to like a lower batch size, for example. So yeah, right here, as you guys can see, the training preview has opened up, and as you guys can see, we have the faces that we are trying to deepfake on right now. So there are several buttons you guys can press. You guys can press P to get the updated face. As you guys can see, it's starting to train. Like I said, the resolution is 128, so therefore the resolution is very small. As you guys can see, it is very small, so it's not recommended to train it, but like I said, this is just a test. So yeah, we may not get the best results for this. The console, as you guys can see, the very first icon, as you guys can see right here, it's basically the time that you are currently on right now. So for me, it's 11:17 a.m. and the second one would be the number of iterations. So right now it's running at 450, and it's increasing. The third bubble, if I'm not wrong, it is basically the how many milliseconds or how many seconds you guys can produce per iteration. So the lower number would be a better number. So your number may differ from mine depending on your GPU. So as you guys can see, I'm running a 3060 Ti with 8 gigs of video RAM. The second last icon would be the if I'm not wrong, the deviation from the face. So the lower value is definitely gonna look more closer to the the source, right? So you definitely want a lower value for this, and the same can be said for the last icon, which a lower value would be better than the high value. So lower the value, the better. So you guys can press P to just update, just to see a preview. As you guys can see, face is training pretty fine right now. And if in any point of time you guys want to take a break, or you guys want to close your computer, you guys can press S, which basically saves the program. So I'm gonna hit S real quick. As you guys can see, the program is saving, and as you guys can see, this is the stage of the program which is being saved at. You guys can also create backups. Let me unfreeze my console. You guys can also create backups by pressing B. As you guys can see, when I press B right here, it says creating backup. And you guys can get the backup at any point of time by pressing the model and the auto backups. As you guys can see, start right here. If you guys are satisfied with the process, as you guys can see, I'm gonna train in a pretty fast time, and it has only like 5 minutes of training, because I just kind of want to rush the process a bit, because you can't really produce good results. But as you guys can see, it's pretty blurry right now. But if let's say I'm satisfied with the process, you guys can definitely leave it for longer. You guys gonna press enter, and it's gonna save the process and close the program, and we'll move on to the I think the second last step of the process. So the second last step of the process is basically going to be merging the SCHD. So once you guys have pressed the button, it should ask you for the model. So you guys are gonna open this model right here, and you guys are going to press the interactive 12 workers. So this is dependent on the amount of cores you guys have, and it should start loading up real quick. You guys are gonna press tab right here. You guys can read all these options right here. This is basically the default options on how to do so. Configure the settings. As you guys can see, it's extremely blurry because I trained it for about 5 minutes or so, and the resolution is not very high. You guys can definitely get a better result than mine. Really depends on the GPU and stuff and settings like that. But as you guys can see, it's actually not that bad, right? So at first we have the Elon Musk model right here. So it has been changed to Tony Stark, as you guys can see. So it's extremely blurry. You can't really make out the eyes. Like I said, this is just really basic tutorial. You guys can leave it out for 1 hour long, or about 10 hours. Normally I do train my model for about 10 hours or so that's not really that really a bad consideration, when you're trying to do deep faking. So you definitely can train it for longer, but so the basic settings of doing so, of making it better, can definitely depend on your GPU, and it really depends on the amount of skills you have, like manipulating the lighting and stuff like that, especially if you're trying to film yourself doing that. For example, the Elon Musk deepfake. So I will not be covering like whether you can erode the mask, blur the mask, and I'll cover that in a future video, because I just want to make this as simple and bite-sized as possible for people trying to get into deepfake. So once you guys are satisfied with it, you guys are gonna hold press shift, and you press the arrow key on the right. So it's gonna merge all the frames. So basically just convert all the frames with the settings that is loaded in the overlay. So I've not touched a single settings, because I just want to keep this very bite-sized and really simple to actually use. So it may take some time to merge, because there is 1600 frames from your destination frames. So yeah, just give it some time to load, and yeah, I'll see you when it's finished. Once you guys are done with the process, you guys are gonna hit the escape button. You guys can see it's being saved right now, and you are ready to do the last process, which is merging to MP4. So you guys are gonna hit the merge to MP4, which is the very last process, and you guys can see the result. The bit rate should be 16, which is the default settings. You guys can definitely go higher if you guys want, but there we go. You guys have completed and done your very first deepfake. So give yourself a pat on the back, because that was not very easy to do. Not many people can do it. So as you guys can see, just let the thing run, let the process run, and it should give you a frame and another model which I will not use. But once you guys open the workspace, you guys can see the results right here. So this is very blur, which because like I said, I run it for 5 minutes, and we are using a model from scratch. So this is how the original one did look like. So it's really pretty blur, but if you open the results, as you guys can see, it's not really that good, because like I said, he's been running for 5 minutes. You guys can definitely do a better job than me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial, and I'll make a part 2 video, an advanced tutorial and the egg-zagging tutorial in the near future. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed today's tutorial, and it was a blast teaching you guys on how to do your very first deepfake. So yeah, see you in the next video.